Surprise, motherfucker.
Tonight you're going to hear the Joseph Paul Franklin episode.
The cursed episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode, it's 21 now, right? And it actually is 21 this time?
I think it's 22. Wasn't last week's 21?
You might be right. I don't know. Oh yeah, the one that hasn't been published yet.
Yeah.
Bear with us. We just switched providers. So, it'll probably be up sometime tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow, so if I don't finish it tonight, it'll definitely be finished tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
It'll be finished and posted tomorrow.
It was an awesome episode, that one. How heavy metal in the 80s was demonized during the Satanic Panic and made the scapegoat for everything that went wrong.
Yes.
It was a fun episode to do. And I think people, whether you like heavy metal or not, probably going to like that episode because it's interesting.
Yes, indeed.
We kind of touched on something on a recent episode about stupid things that you've done.
Uh-huh.
I got one today. I was back at my yard, finished at the truck yard, finishing up my day and everything. I was disconnecting the trailer and all that stuff and everything, and I reached down to get my gloves and put my shoes on because I have to get out of the truck. Now, I have a Grogu stuffed animal. It's about probably 10 inches tall by about maybe 7 inches wide, maybe 8 inches wide or whatever. And I've got it up in the center of the dashboard. So right next to it, I have a neon green microfiber cloth that I use to clean my glasses with, and it was right next to this Grogu. And I'm looking down, and out of the corner of my eye, my brain registered that as somebody on the front of the truck, with its face pressed up against the windshield, staring in at me. I jumped. It scared the living shit out of me for like a split second.
Wow.
I don't even know how the hell that happened. I don't know why that scared me, but it did.
Yeah, dude, I could understand that.
Yeah,
that's just yeah, it's one of them silly ass things.
Yeah, you see something out of the corner of your eye, and your brain interprets it as something completely different.
Yeah, no doubt.
Your brain's like, surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah, no shit.
So.
I do that. That happens to me a lot at work. Because all our equipment is like stainless steel or whatever, and we
Hobart
have tiles. No, it's not. I don't think I actually have anything Hobart at work.
No. Well, it's probably a good thing.
But we have like tiles and with they're kind of light colored tiles with a dark grout line. It's like sometimes like if I'm just walking and I turn my head right, like it'll kind of move. Like I don't know if it's because of my glasses or what, but like the reflection of the grout line will move, and I'll think it's like a rat or something, and it's like, what the fuck?
Oh,
but I mean, we don't have rats, so I know that it's not a rat, but it's my brain still jumps to that,
Right.
Like, what the hell was that?
Crazy stuff happens. You just don't realize what the hell you're seeing. It's kind of like your brain is playing a joke on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like playing jokes on people whenever possible. So one time I had found this really thin piece of round black wire, but when I saw it, I was walking. I thought it was a black racer because that's what it looked like. The way that it was like twisted up. I mean, it wasn't twisted, just the way it was lying on the ground. Well, Amy wasn't home, and she's deathly afraid of snakes. So I take that thing and I put it right on the ground next to where her car door Where's your porch? I'm out here in the bunker, and all of a sudden I hear, ah!
Yeah. I bet that didn't go over well.
Oh, I owned up to it. And like, she's like, oh, she came back here. She told me, and I'm like, she's like, oh, yes, there was a piece of cord there. I thought it was a snake. I'm like, yeah, I know, I put it there. She's like, you asshole.
Oh boy.
And we wonder why our women get mad at us.
No shit.
Anyway, Joseph Paul Franklin, take 3.
Yes.
What had happened was I basically wrote an initial draft out for the first time that we did the episode. I had based it on like Wikipedia and some other website. And then we had to redo it for whatever reason. I can't remember why. I can't remember what happened the first time, and it doesn't really matter. In between that, I had found other, even more information. Because I had gotten the book, Dark Soul of the South, The Life and Crimes of Racist Killer Joseph Paul Franklin by Mel Ayton, Ayton. I've got the book in front of me. But so I had gone through that. So rather than redo my notes, like start fresh, what I tried to do was like add information with like other pages and everything, and I was putting like redirect things, like telling me where the redirect is going to be, and it didn't go over very well. So we tried to redo it, and we redid it from like a certain spot that was even more of a clusterfuck than it was the first time. And not to mention, when I sent Todd my file, there was a piece of it missing. A piece of my file missing. And so we're like, all right, screw it. So this is take 3 of Joseph Paul Franklin with all new notes in the right order. James Clayton Vaughn Jr. was born April 13th, 1950. His father was abusive to all 4 of his kids. James Sr., he was a World War II veteran with PTSD. He was a serious alcoholic, and he was a nasty alcoholic. Mm-hmm. He would bounce around from job to job and disappear for days at a time, and then come back broke and wasted, and then he'd just proceed to beating the shit out of the kids. Nice guy.
Yeah, yeah. Nice guy.
Father of the Year. But then again, the mother, or his wife, Helen, was also an abusive bitch alcoholic as well. So, they're getting beat all the time by their mother, and then when his dad came home, they was getting beat double time. I'm just going to call him Joseph Paul Franklin for the rest of the episode, just to make it easier. Yeah, and I'll say in here when he officially changes his name, but from this point on, we're just going to call him Joseph Paul Franklin. So,
for simplicity's sake, yes.
Right. So he said that it was hell, like literal living in hell with both of his parents. They moved to Mobile, Alabama in 1961. The civil rights issues were going crazy, racial tensions and all that stuff, and he ate up the racism. He idolized the KKK. His parents were also anti-Semitic. He was good in school, but he was a loner, and he would read everything. His favorite book, you remember what his favorite book was?
Was it Mein Kampf?
Yeah, it was Mein Kampf.
Mein Kampf, yeah.
He checked the book out from the library and then never returned it. So he took it all in, and he basically modeled his life on it. Hitler was his hero. So at 12 years old, he had a bike wreck, and it blinded him in the right eye, and he also got a concussion from it, so head injury. But he and his brother would play with guns and mace, and they would actually shoot, spray each other with mace. So I mean, that probably wasn't really good for his eyes either.
I wouldn't think so. No. That's just dumb. Like, why do you do dumb shit like that? Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Whoever said that serial killers were smart? Well, some of them are, but most of them are dumber than a box of hammers.
Right.
They moved in with their uncle, and their uncle was also an alcoholic and a white supremacist and a gun nut.
Oh, bunch of winners in this family, huh?
Yeah. So he taught Joseph Paul Franklin how to shoot, and he became a very, very good shot. And his favorite targets, it wasn't like bottles and stuff like that. He liked to shoot animals. And in fact, he would also abuse animals as well. And his mom did too. His mom was an animal abuser as well. His mom would like dump boiling water on cats, stray cats and stray dogs and stuff. Yeah, so.
Dude, fuck, dude, that's just wrong.
I'm sorry, crazy cat lady. You all right?
Me?
I'm worried about you. You got quiet there for a second.
Nah.
You're like,
No, I'm fine.
You're like saying.
I was just kind of trying to take all that in, man.
Saying a Hail Mary for the dead cats.
Yeah, something like that. I was just, I don't know, dude. That's, you know me. You know I don't like fucking animal abuse and shit like that.
I know. But I think it's sweet, too, because you're all, like, guff and everything. You have a rugged outward appearance and everything, and all that stuff. But inside, you're just a little kitty cat.
Yeah, I am. That's true.
Sponsor break.
Sponsor
Your
break.
new podcast.
Is your feline fur baby having uncontrollable hairballs?
Kitty Chat with Todd
Can help. Does your precious princess sharpen her claws on your brand new microfiber sectional sofa?
Kitty Chat with Todd
Can help. Join Todd, the crazy cat lady. He can help you with all of your pussycat problems and your kitty cat concerns. Did your kitty develop indigestion after it ate your meth head roommate who died of an overdose while you were on vacation?
Kitty Chat with Todd
Can help with that too. Find the Kitty Chat with Todd podcast at Kitty Chat with Todd on MySpace.
Kitty Chat with Todd
It has the answers you need.
Kitty Chat with Todd
Where every day is Catterday. Meow.
I love that one.
That's so much fun, dude. That was so freaking fun to do, dude. I couldn't. You don't even know.
Anyway, back to old JPF.
Yes.
He loved the Western movies, but he always rooted for the bad guys.
Well, of course.
Yeah, and it's like when he would play Cowboys and Indians with his with his friends and everything, he'd always want to be the bad guy. Cops and robbers, he wanted to be the bad guy. And he walked around looking like a dressed like a cowboy in black with a cowboy hat on.
Right.
He also liked to study up on all the infamous outlaws. Jesse James and all them, Billy the Kid.
Right.
Loved the Westerns. Although I don't think John Wayne would have liked him. John Wayne Gacy might have liked him.
Yeah, John Wayne Gacy probably would have liked him.
but not John Wayne.
No, not at all.
John Wayne would have probably looked at JPF and be like, "All right, Pilgrim, you got a screw loose in that head of yours. Why don't you get a haircut and stop being a racist piece of shit, Pilgrim?"
Pilgrim. Hell yeah.
Actually, John Wayne Gacy might have thought he was cute.
Yeah.
So he drops out of school at age 16. And at that time, religion was exploding, through the Deep South, through the Bible Belt and all that stuff. And 16-year-old Joseph Paul Franklin started going to the Unification Church. But they were anti-racist, so he left. And this is going to be kind of a running theme with him, where it's like whatever he does, it's whatever crazy outfit that he gets himself into or whatever, they're not crazy enough for him, so he leaves. And hashtag we'll get to that.
How bad is that?
I know. This is one of the more crazy and lesser known cases too, which is crazy that it's lesser known because of who he killed, which hashtag we'll get there. Or who he had tried to kill.
Right.
So he joins the Christian Identity movement, which is anti-Semitic. Yeah, they believe that whites were the only good race. Jews and blacks are basically farm animals. So Joseph Paul Franklin fits right in with the Christian Identity people. He was a perfect match.
Yeah.
So he goes on Christian Identity churches all over Alabama and Mississippi and everything, and like a couple hundred different churches. I mean, it's kind of like when O.R.G. Stair, went on his southern tour trying to find where he was going to set up his cult.
Uh-huh.
I believe this guy could have been a cult leader too if he wanted to. Like one of these, because he would command respect and all that stuff in the organizations that he would go to. So all he would have to do is get himself out there. It's just like, okay, the KKK is not extreme enough. Come over with me and we'll have some fun. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I'm not getting too far ahead.
A little bit, but it's all right.
Yeah. So in 1969, he decides that it's time for a race war. So he race war. He hooks up with this girl named Bobby Dorman, and that was his first time with a girl, and they were married after 2 weeks. Yeah, and it didn't last very long. I mean, he was a wannabe biker, and this is according to her. He's a wannabe biker. He was wearing swastikas and stuff like that. And he would like do the Heil Hitler salute in the mirror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he also, just like father, like son, he beat and belittled, his wife, which is just perfectly normal for him. He was arrested several times for abuse, and just really nice guy. She divorces him shortly after, but I gotta wonder if he was doing the frickin', like talking like Adolf Hitler when he was in bed.
I hope not.
Mate, who's your daddy, bitch? Perfect Nugan, Mein Kampf. Bark like a dog, bitch. Mein Kampf, Perfect Nugan.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't the case.
I hope it was the case. I hope it was the case. I hope he actually did do that.
Well, yeah, I suppose he could have.
and that, my friends, is where the Nazi Joe character came from.
Yeah.
We'd referenced in past, like an episode or two where he's made a little bit of an appearance. It's where we were doing the original, the first episode and everything, and I just came up. It's like when she divorced him, and he was doing the Heil Hitler in the mirror. I was like, I wonder if he was talking like Hitler in bed. And that's how Nazi Joe was born.
So Nazi Joe was born.
So
Good old Nazi Joe.
he was also a blue belt in karate.
Uh-oh.
Now, I have a question. What is blue belt? Like a middle? It's like middle.
It depends on what style you're taking, but it's depending on like where you're at. Like, I took Taekwondo, and once you got blue belt, then red belt, and then black belt. So it depends. Like, there might be a different color belt but it's pretty close to being a black belt.
Oh, so
generally.
It's white belt is like the bottom.
Yeah, white belt's
then,
what you are at first, and then it kind of goes up from there.
Oh, so he was just a little bit above a white belt. Yeah, he could whip a beginner's ass.
Well, if he was a blue belt, I mean, like I said, it depends on what style, but he was probably, blue belt is usually close to being a black belt.
Oh, okay.
It just depends, like I said, it depends on what style you're taking, things like
right.
that. Because, different styles they do different things with different colors.
So blue belt is like close to being black belt, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't want to be a black belt.
Yeah, right. Racist fuck.
Yeah.
I would not be a black belt in karate. I will just be the blue belt. I'll kick your ass. Perfect Nugan, Mein Kampf.
Perfect nougat. I never really thought about that, but you're right. Yeah, a racist probably wouldn't want to be a black belt, now would they?
Yeah, but a black belt could kick a blue belt's ass, though.
True, but you know what I'm
Yeah. So, fucking Nazi Joe. Oh, man. So he bolts to Washington, D.C., and he joins the American Nazi Party. And, you know, just for a time. Yeah, he didn't stay there for very long. All they did was just sit and talk and bitched about racism and everything, about how whites, hey, we're white. You know, we're better than black folks. You know, we got the, you know, how dare they exist in a white world? Yeah, but that's all they did. They just sat around. Yeah, they just sat around bitching. You know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, probably drinking natural light.
Natty Light.
Or Schlitz. Schlitz. I have a theory about how the name Schlitz came to be for that beer.
Yeah.
I think that the person who originated the recipe and brewed it for the first time, when he took a sip of it, he went, Schlitz!
Yeah, that could be.
Because he was probably trying to say shit and disgust, and he probably, you know, like burped and bit his tongue, so it just came out Schlitz.
Yeah.
But if Schlitz wants to sponsor us, I love Schlitz.
I'll drink it all day long.
I'll drink it all day long.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Oh, it was really cool freaking hanging out with you last night, man.
That was fun, bro.
Todd and I hung out for the first time together, like in person, since we've been doing the podcast.
Yes.
And that was actually the first time I had seen him in probably a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So that was really cool. We got some pictures. We're actually going to post a picture of us together on our socials rather than just the one that's up there now with like the one picture of him and then one picture of me.
Yes.
We're going to replace it with the two of us hanging out, and we got our. What are you drinking tonight, Todd?
Oh, Bud Light.
Me too.
I was waiting for that, but I wasn't going to say nothing. I was just going to let it, you know. If we did it, we did it. If we don't, we don't. You know, it's all good.
You were going to see. Yeah, you were going to see if I remembered.
Yeah, pretty much. I was waiting to see if you remembered.
That's Todd.
And that's Bill.
And we are Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer.
And beer.
Yeah, we didn't even do that. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults.
And beer.
And damn, my brain fucked up.
I know, you just started going into it. We were so excited.
I know. Damn, we cheesed out on our freaking intro and everything.
Yeah. That's all right. I'll fix it, Ned. I'll fix it in post. It'll be fine.
No, you don't have to fix it. Leave it.
All right.
He wanted action. You know, a little less talk and a lot more racism.
Right.
So, it's like the most that they did was like small protests and everything.
Uh-huh.
They were just basically just, like handing out pamphlets and he'd probably go out there like, being all Nazi Joe and everything.
You take this public perfect nougat, mein Kampf,
Yeah, right.
I think Nazi Joe's coming off better this episode than it did initially.
Yeah.
Well, I've had several months to think about it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, they also this group, the American Nazi Party, they didn't like JPF's looks because he looked like a hippie. He had long hair, he had tattoos, he probably didn't shower much.
Right.
Probably, and not to mention he's walking around. Somebody says hi to him. Hi, Joe.
Hi,
So, all of a sudden, an anti-war protest happened because this is, during the Vietnam War, and the Nazis, they wanted to block off the protest to prevent them from doing it.
Uh-huh.
But they didn't have enough people in their ranks to actually be able to pull it off. And at this point, I'm kind of imagining that their group probably has like 30 people in it tops, and probably only 15 show up at the meetings at a time.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh shit, there was a meeting. Oh, I missed it. Oh well. Is that one dude gonna be there? Because if he is, I ain't going to this fucking meeting.
That long-haired freaky fuck that that likes to talk like Hitler.
Is that fucking hippie gonna be here? I'm not gonna be here if he's gonna be here.
But Hitler definitely wasn't a hippie.
No, Hitler wasn't.
No. I don't get it. I mean, hippies. Well, he wasn't a hippie. He just looked like one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a hippie isn't going to gravitate toward what Hitler was preaching and what Hitler did. Because they're all about peace and love and getting stoned, man.
Yeah.
So since they don't have the numbers to stop this anti-war rally, and those hippies, that were protesting and everything, they had numbers.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, they did. I mean, those anti-war protests, especially the ones happening in Washington, D.C., were huge. Like thousands of people.
Oh, yeah.
The American Nazi Party's got like 30 people that would rather just be, just sitting there on their couch bitching about stuff.
Just bitching about it, right? Instead of actually doing something.
Yeah. But they bombed the office and everything with smoke bombs, and the building is trashed. It does it's people can't go in there for like a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. They didn't really leave any calling cards or anything. All they know out there, and this is something else that's going to be every crime that JPF commits and everything. It's just like nobody knows who the hell did it. He couldn't figure out how to. This was like, okay, I'm doing all these things for attention, but if I tell everybody who I am, I'll be arrested.
Yeah, right. That kind of like that defeats the purpose. It's like you want attention, but yes, oh man.
Well, I mean, Ted Bundy. I mean, he left calling cards. I mean, he had several different beige or yellow Volkswagen Bugs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like people knew that he would tell people that his name is. He would tell people that he was trying to victimize. He would tell them that his name was Ted, and for a time being, his murders were called the Ted murders.
Yeah.
So it's just like Ted Bundy had some balls. This guy didn't.
No, not at all. Sorry, fucking Nazis. Yes, I just don't understand it. But anyway.
Yeah, and I'm not glorifying Ted Bundy. Obviously, I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out the differences between somebody. It's just like, okay, everybody remembers Ted Bundy's name because of because he wasn't afraid to conceal him. He didn't. He did what he did and he got away with it.
Yeah.
While telling people that his name was Ted. He didn't give aliases and all that stuff. And pretty much the only reason that he got away, or the only reason that he didn't get away was because of the fact that, when he came down to Florida, he went into frickin' berserker mode. And, I mean, it's just like the last screw that he had holding his brain together broke, and that was it.
Yeah.
So... And plus, he did it in Florida.
Yeah, well,
You ain't you get caught for shit like that in Florida. You ain't leaving Florida ever.
No.
It's like Florida and Texas. I think are like the only two death penalty states left in the country.
Could be. I don't know, but yeah, dude. Everybody talks bad about Florida. Like the whole Florida man thing and all this crap. But dude, Florida don't fuck around, man.
Yeah. Oh, we're Florida men and we're proud of it.
Yes. I love my swamp.
As far as I know, we're the only Florida true crime podcast. As far as I know.
Yeah.
And if there are,
there's got to be more, but yeah.
Well, most of the true crime podcasts come from Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. Like, True Crime Garage, Ohio. The Brohio podcast, obviously, Ohio.
Obviously.
That's a cool name. That's a cool name. That's a cool name, though. The Brohio podcast.
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
I like it.
Yeah, they're kind of. If I was going to compare us to another podcast, I would probably compare us. You know, it's like as far as another true crime podcast, I'd say we have our own blend, our own way of doing things and everything. But it's just for like the one that we resemble the most would probably be the Brohio podcast.
Right on.
They're really good. Necronomipod, awesome name.
Necronomipod, I love that.
Ohio, True Crime All the Time, Ohio, Murder and Such, Ohio.
Was there just nothing to do in Ohio?
Apparently not. I've wondered that many times. It's like all of these podcasts that I'm naming off are big dogs.
Yeah.
All of them. You know, it's just great, and I'm sure there's even more than that. Actually, there is. There's one podcast that I listened to for a while, but then they kind of just stopped doing things, and now they're like releasing an episode like every couple months or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And they're called the Brothers Commonplace, and they're Ohio.
Ohio. So apparently there's nothing to do in Ohio but podcasts, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not putting anybody down or anything.
I want to know what Drew Carey thinks about this.
Yeah, right.
So, but okay. I'm sure there's another true crime podcast from Florida, but we're the only ones that. Hey, we're from Florida. We're Florida men, and we're damn proud of it.
Yes. We do silly shit, but you know what? It's all right.
Yeah. Hashtag. But I digress.
Yes, indeed.
Damn. We're like 40 minutes in, and that was our first digression?
Well, except for the beginning.
Well, that was intro stuff.
I know.
Gotta have it.
You know. I mean, we went off with the intro digression, and we forgot to actually start the podcast.
Yeah, we forgot to start the podcast.
But, here we are.
Anyway, after the success of their mission, the Nazis, they liked him all of a sudden, but he couldn't come up with another good plan. So they're just like, all right, what have you done for me lately? So it's like, okay, we need another plan. That was fun. We need another plan. So I got to think that there's probably this like, well, you guys are too much pussies for us to do what I really want to do.
Right.
So he goes somewhere else, another place that has major racial tensions and everything.
Uh-huh.
Atlanta.
Good old hot Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta. The racial tensions were high there, and he wanted to stir the pot. Yeah, because he's got a race war to start and all, you know?
Well, yeah, because that's something you do.
Yeah. So he joins the National States' Rights Party, which is a far-right white supremacist group.
Oh, boy.
He was welcomed immediately, especially, because he had his little resume about, like, okay, he threw a bunch of smoke bombs. And they're like, hey, come on in!
Right? That's exactly the kind of chaos we're looking for.
At least that we want to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, we don't actually want to do nothing, but yeah, we would sit and talk about how cool that must have been for you to throw smoke bombs. What a fucking dumbass.
But he wasn't, he wasn't sure of it because they didn't want to give him a high position into the group. Yeah, he wanted to just walk in and be like, hey, I did this in D.C. Make me your leader.
And be put in charge. But he has no idea what to do. That's
right.
great.
they would hand out leaflets and everything, and he wanted to do more than hand out leaflets like a crazy person.
I
Oh, more
take this
leaflets, huh?
leaflet. White power, we're the best. Mein Kampf, perfect Nugan.
Perfect Nugan. Oh, that's fucking great.
That's a lot of what they did.
Yeah.
So, once again, they weren't doing enough, so he bounced. And I could just imagine like a sad ending to one of those 80s after-school specials with a sad ending. As he just walks off and everything with his head hung low.
Stay gold, pony boy. Stay gold.
Yeah. So in 1973, he bounces back to Mobile. And then he joined the United Clans of America. Now, these people, they were the real deal as far as he was concerned.
Oh, he
They,
finally found where he belonged? Or where he wanted
Yeah.
to belong? Whatever.
I found someone to take away the loneliness.
Yep.
You just picture like an 80s pop ballad or whatever with him looking lovingly with his mouth open with a cheesy stupid grin. I found, and Cher's like, I found someone to take away the heartache.
And here we go. We managed to bring Cher into a Nazi fucking podcast. Or a podcast about a Nazi.
Oh, damn.
Only here, folks. Only here.
Yeah, only on Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Beer. Will you hear Cher being put into a freaking episode about a Nazi, a racist Nazi son of a bitch.
Yeah. 'Cause that's just how we roll.
That's just what I thought. It's just like
Right?
when he found it, it was just like, I'm home.
Welcome to our world.
I think this is one of the hardest we've gone at a fucking serial killer. I think we're going at him a lot harder than we've gone at others.
Yeah,
What do
but
you
you know,
think?
he's a fucking Nazi, dude. He's a fucking piece
Yeah,
of shit.
he deserves it.
He's worse a piece of shit than the other pieces of shit we've covered.
Right. I mean, and he killed a lot more people than BTK did. I mean, and that episode was just that was another cursed episode, but there will be no redemption of that episode.
No, we're done with that one.
Yeah, we're keeping those there as they are as a reminder to do good.
To do better.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going at this fucker pretty hard.
Well, you know, it is what it is. He's a fucking piece of shit. He deserves it.
Yep. So they had bombed a church that had killed 4 girls. They had they lynched another black person. They trained their members in combat skills and they even had a compound. You know, they taught tactics and hardcore racist rhetoric and everything, all to start the race war.
The race war, yes.
Old Nazi Joe's, he's just like,
I went into race war too. My perfect Nugan.
no, he ate it up. He loved it. Now he starts learning about making bombs and everything, and he thought that he was Nazi Rambo.
Oh my God.
I'm your worst nightmare. You do first blood.
Oh God, Jesus, no.
Now, at age 26, this is when he officially changes his name to Joseph Paul Franklin. Joseph for Joseph Goebbels, he was the Nazi propaganda minister. And Franklin for Ben Franklin.
That's weird. I don't see that, but okay.
So he has a burning hatred for blacks, Jews, and also certain white people.
Oh.
White people in interracial relationships. He decided that it was God's will that he killed them. At this point, he's not ready to start killing people yet. He hasn't worked up the cojones to do it. So he just walk up and screaming at a couple, "Hey, you black and white people, you are people that are just... You... Perfect Nugan."
Perfect Nugan.
So at this point, he's ready to escalate from just screaming at interracial couples and everything. And so he's going to come up with plans, and he's ready to pick the first target to start the race war. Morris J. Anakay, pro-Israel, Washington, D.C., pro-Israel congressional lobbyist, and he staked out the guy's house, and he decided to bomb the guy's house. And he wanted to kill Morris, and he wanted to kill his wife and 3 kids.
Oh, I see.
So he builds a bomb. Well, you see, but Joseph Paul Franklin doesn't see very well.
Right.
So he builds a bomb in a hotel room, and at about 3 o'clock in the morning, he detonates it, and you could hear the explosion a couple miles away. All the people survived. All the humans survived. The beagle didn't.
More animals.
Right. Well, that's going to really start a race war. I just killed a beagle.
Yeah, I killed a beagle. Not Snoopy.
So there's no suspect, so fail!
Yep, epic fail. I mean, dude, all he did was, he blew up a dog. He didn't even kill the people he was trying to kill, dude. I mean...
Yeah, he didn't kill anybody. He just, he fucked the house up pretty bad and killed the dog, but no people were killed.
He didn't do the thing that he set out to do, so yeah, he's a fucking failure. A fucking douche canoe.
So he goes to Chattanooga, and he's like, okay, I got to search out synagogues, and he finds Beth Shalom Synagogue. And he sets out the bomb overnight and everything because there was going to be a service the next day, but not enough people showed up for the service. And so the service was canceled. The bomb was set on a timer, and it went off. The building was destroyed, but nobody was in it.
Nobody was in it.
Fail!
Due to lack of interest, your bombing attempt has been thwarted. Yet again. Fucking loser.
But the MO was matched to the DC bombing of, Anakay.
Yeah.
So he's just like, all right, maybe bombing isn't the best idea.
Maybe bombing isn't for me.
So he's like, okay, I'm just going to switch to I'm a good shot. Stick to what you're good at. So he goes to Madison, Wisconsin. Judge Archie Simonson had ruled on a case where 2 black men had raped a white woman, and he didn't think that the sentence was harsh enough. I don't have the sentence here, but he did his research and everything, and he found out that the judge was also a Jew. Dun dun dun.
Here we go.
Them damn Jews letting them black men off for killing and for raping a white woman.
Right.
The Jews must die.
Perfect Nugan.
Perfect Nugan.
He went to a mall and everything. He's getting some last-minute supplies. And when he came out, he was blocked in. It wasn't like somebody had just, parked their car and just left it there. Somebody was waiting for a parking space because the space they were waiting on, it's like they're probably loading in a bunch of groceries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, no, he took it personally.
Oh, of course.
He confronted the driver, Alphonse Manning, black man, and his girlfriend, Tony Schwinn, white. And at first he screams at him. He's like,
move your perfect Nugan. How am I supposed to start a race war if your perfect Nugan is in my damn way? I got to start the race war, and you are impeding my progress. Die, Mein Kampf, Perfect Dugan.
Your Farfig Dugan is in my way. Fucking great, dude. Holy shit.
So he winds up shooting both of them and killing them. He didn't kill the judge, but he was satisfied in his double moiter.
Moida.
Oh wait, that sounds like a moiter. That sounds like a Jewish accent.
Sounds like yogurt.
So he was satisfied by his double murder. And because of that, as far as he was concerned, the race war had begun.
Tonight, on the Grudge Match of Death, we have a rivalry that sets social relations back decades. The Race War! A no-holds-barred fight to the death. We have white supremacist chucklehead Nazi Joe Paul Franklin going up against black supremacist cult leader Dwight, the alien, the pedo, York. Who will be victorious? 2 men enter, 1 man leaves in a coffin. The winner will be fucked to death by porn legend Brickzilla. Don't miss it!
Okay, yeah. You killed 2 people and it started. Okay.
Begun. The race war has.
And now we brought Star Wars into it.
Hey, I haven't brought Spaceballs into it yet.
No, but I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Did I miss it?
You must have, because when you said moida, I said it sounds like yogurt.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what I thought you said.
Okay. Yeah, see, I beat you to it this time.
Damn. That's my bit.
Yeah, well, not this time.
And for you wondering what we're talking about, that was a running gag on the Bill and Todd's Excellent Digression podcast. It's like I would find a way to work a Spaceballs reference into everything that we did.
Yes, it was great.
It was hilarious. But that show will be coming back soon, hopefully.
Yeah,
so.
Soonish. Coming to a YouTube channel near you.
Yep. So he goes from state to state. He's robbing banks and everything, and that's how he's able to maintain his funding.
Yeah.
In October of 1977, he's at a St. Louis motel looking for synagogues, and he found the Brit Shalom synagogue. And he decided that he was just going to open fire as soon as the services let out. So he hides, and as soon as people starts coming out, he opens fire. He shoots and wounds 2 people, and then he kills Gerald Gordon. And by that time, everybody had run. He wasn't really smart on that if he wanted to inflict a maximum amount of damage. Like, he should have waited until, everybody was out in the parking lot talking to each other and everything. Hey, we'll see you next week and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that he didn't do that, obviously. But still, it's just like he wasn't thinking. Like, as soon as the door opened, he just starts shooting.
Yeah.
So people hear the gunshot, see people go down in front of them, they stay the fucking side.
Right.
Once again,
Yeah.
I'm glad that he didn't think that way. But then again, he's not a true crime podcaster that's not exposed to all this and gets to sit there and Monday morning quarterback everything that these fucking assholes do.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we do have a slight bit of an advantage when it comes to that.
True.
But yeah, no, dude. Yeah, you got to wait till everybody's out if you want to do the maximum damage.
Right. So he goes back to his motel and he's watching the news and everything, and he's just like, it made the local news, but he got pissed off that there was no national coverage of his brilliant plan. He's like,
But I killed 2 Jews. No race war.
Right.
Perfect Dugan.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. It's going to take more than that.
yeah. So he needs a new plan. He needs a famous person. So he settles on Larry Flint of Hustler magazine.
Yes. Good old Larry.
It's not because, Larry Flint was a smut peddler and stuff like that, a porno guy. He didn't care about that. Old JPF, he liked his porn and everything. But, he comes up with addition, it has a black man with this huge fucking schlong just drilling the hell out of a white girl.
Yeah.
And that set him off. It's like he had posted pictures of interracial sex and everything, and
He had
Larry
to
must
go.
die! Larry Flint must die! Die, 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 die!
obviously it was racist, but I think there was also a little bit of penis envy in there too.
It's possible.
Yeah, seeing this freaking guy with this like $5 foot long just sitting there.
$5 foot long. Oh my god. Yeah.
And he's looking at his little fucking 3-inch, 2 inches 2 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, it was obviously racial, but I'm sure that he had a little bit of an inferiority complex, because I'm sure that at that point, because of the fact that how much he hates black people, I'm sure that was the first time that he had ever seen an image of a black man's dick.
Yeah, right? Oh, man, that's... whatever, yeah. Fuck this guy, dude.
Yeah. So Flint was in Lawrenceville, Georgia, in court for obscenity charges. JPF camps out on top of a building across from the courthouse and opens fire as they entered the building. And he shoots Flint and his attorney Gene Reeves. They both survived, but this guy is why Larry Flint was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Yes.
So after that, he called the courthouse boasting. And when they took him to the hospital, he tried to go to the hospital to finish Flint off, but the security was too tight. And he was pissed. This made him so fucking mad because he had failed.
Failed! What? No
Again.
race war?
Yep. Failed again. Fucking loser.
Yeah. His high-profile target and everything survived. And you know what? JPF was never charged for the attempted murder of Larry Flint. Nobody knew he did it. This is something that he can confess to later on.
Oh, I see.
There's information that I found after reading that book and everything. It's just after he got arrested. We could do a whole entire episode on all the crazy shit that happened after he got arrested with his court.
Oh, wow.
But after this happens, with Flint and everything, Flint doubled down on the fucking interracial stuff.
Oh, of course he did, because, why wouldn't you?
That's all there was. Every episode that he did had a layout of a black man plowing a white woman, and I'm pretty sure that there was also a white man plowing a black woman. I'm pretty sure he threw that in there for emphasis.
Yeah, he went everywhere with it. He didn't care.
So then he's back to Chattanooga. So on July 19th, 1978, he's outside of a Pizza Hut in Chattanooga, and he comes across Bryant Tatum, black man, and Nancy Hilton, white woman.
Yeah.
So he hid. He shot and killed Bryant through the window. And like we said earlier, it's just it was 200 feet away, not 200 yards. And
Yes.
Bryant was killed and Nancy was injured. But only on the local news, there was
No national coverage?
Again, Phil. Oh, God. At what point do you just stop and give up?
well, they don't know how to do that.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but it's
think about the freaking murder trust and on the Michael Malloy story.
I know, but
they just had to keep going and had to keep going.
But I think I said it then too. It's dude, at what point do you just stop? It's dude, this fucker ain't gonna die. Fuck it.
That's why I brought that up just now, because
Yeah.
you did say that in that episode.
But you know what I mean? It's wow, dude, okay, how many people have you killed now, and how many things have you tried to blow up, and nothing's happening? Dude, just stop. It ain't gonna happen.
Well, he kills 22 people. But so at that point he takes a year off, and in August of 1979 he sees Harold McIver in Dorville, Georgia. He's a black Taco Bell manager, and he's talking to white female employees. Like, oh, how dare he do his job?
Yeah, right.
But a black man can't even manage a restaurant, manage a business that has white people working at it.
Apparently not. At least not in his mind.
So he hides in the bushes, about 140 feet away, and everything, and he shoots McIver through the window. There's no, and he gets the hell out of there. I mean, he's doing a good. The kills that he's done, he's doing a good job of getting away with it at this point, because he leaves no clues. Most of the time, he picks up the bullet casing.
Oh, he's being sneaky. I see.
Yeah.
Well,
So, in August of 1979, Falls Church, Virginia. This is just like a week later, maybe not even. Burger King. He kills a black man, Raymond Taylor, and also on October 29th of 1979. 1979 was a busy year for him. He kills. He's in Oklahoma City at a mall near the state fairgrounds. 42-year-old Jesse Taylor, who's black, and his white Marianne Brissett, who's white. They've got the kids in their car, but they haven't gotten in the car yet. The 3 kids, but he kills them both in front of the 3 kids. And it's just like, so the 3 kids are sitting there strapped in the car and everything. Meanwhile, their parents are dead. Yeah, and this guy just drives off like nothing happened. At this point, I'm not sure if he's racist or if he just has a problem with shitty fucking fast food restaurants.
Yeah, right. That kind of seems to be where the direction he's going in now.
Pizza Hut, Burger King, Taco Bell, and he's not done yet. The Church's Fried Chicken comes up shortly.
Oh. Yeah, like what happened? Did he give up on the whole race thing and just like, dude, I'm just killing shitty fast food places. People that run fast food restaurants. I'm just going to take them out now.
Heartburn! Die! You give me heartburn. That's why I talk like this. Die, Perfect Dugan.
Right?
So he goes back to Alabama. He's robbing banks all the way and everything. And he's 29 years old at this point. And then when he gets back to Alabama, he meets 16-year-old Anita Carden. And he introduces himself as James Cooper. And they married. She has no idea that he's a criminal and everything. His side story was he's a he was a plumber. And he goes out of town a lot and comes back with like a lot of money. She thinks she's just got a guy who makes a shit ton of money, and she's considering herself lucky. But he also abused her and everything.
Well, there's a surprise. Because, he was such a nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
So she gets pregnant, and old JPF, he loses it. It's like, how am I supposed to start a race where we're looking after kids?
Yeah, right? That kind of puts a damper on your plans, don't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, he could be out there like shooting people and everything with one hand with his gun up on a on like a mount or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and he could be holding a baby with the other hand.
Oh yeah,
As one does.
As one often does when you're trying to start a race war with children.
If you're trying to frickin' start a race war, you either use a condom or you have to learn how to multitask.
Yeah, right. Holy shit. Yeah, that's true.
In December of 79, he meets a 15-year-old hitchhiker named Mercedes. They actually date for a while, and then he kills her because she made the fatal mistake of admitting that she had dated a black guy once.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's not a good thing to do to this guy. I mean, you might want to keep that kind of stuff to yourself.
Now, if you're sitting there saying, "Okay, I hate black people. I want to kill black people," and all that stuff, it's like you would think that you wouldn't. And I'm not blaming the victim here, but I would just think that you would say like, "Okay, well, maybe I shouldn't mention the fact that I dated a black man."
Maybe we have to leave that part out while I quietly sneak away.
Yeah, like like the Homer Simpson meme where he fades into the bushes.
Exactly.
So he bounced again after he kills her, and he goes to Indianapolis, and this is 1980 January. Church's Fried Chicken.
Uh-oh. There we go. Back to the fast food places.
Yep. Lawrence Reese kills him through the window. A couple days later, on January 14th of 1980, he's still in Indy, and he sees Leo Watkins. He's a black exterminator, and he kills him outside of like a little grocery store that he was waiting to treat for bugs.
Oh.
Man's just sitting there doing his job and everything. All of a sudden, boom, I'm dead.
Damn.
April 1980, back in Wisconsin. He picks up Rebecca Bergstrom, a white young lady. She was hitchhiking. They talked a lot. And he, they hung out for a couple days and everything, and I'm sure he got some of that.
Right.
All of a sudden, he goes into racism and stuff like that, and she, of course, says that she had dated a black man. Can't have that. And actually, it wasn't Rebecca. It was the last girl that we talked about, or Mercedes.
Yeah.
Later, after Mercedes, he's just like, I really didn't have a problem with her. It was just the fact that I stuck my dick in her in the same pussy that a black man's dick had been in.
See, that's just fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway.
Of course, she had to die, so they're driving down the road. He makes her get out of the car, and he shoots her and leaves her dead on the shoulder.
Mm.
Next, he decides he needs another high profile. And, of course, he's like, for however many attempts on high profile targets.
Yeah, he's not doing too well.
Nah. He never kills high profile target. He never does. So, but next up is Jesse Jackson.
Uh-oh.
He was speaking in Indianapolis, but his speaking engagement had gotten canceled, so he left Indy. So he's foiled.
Wow.
Damn it. Perfect, Dugan.
I mean, like, I don't know how you even look at that. It's like, does this guy have just incredibly terrible luck when it comes to stuff like that? Or are the people that that he wants to kill just incredibly lucky? You know, like the thing got canceled, so I guess I'm going to take off. And, not even knowing that this guy was planning on trying to kill whoever.
Not even knowing he was stalking him.
Yeah. It's like, dude, how does that even... man, that's just weird.
No, I think it's a little bit of both. Good luck on his intended targets, bad luck on him. You know?
Yeah, that's probably, that makes sense.
But not all is lost. Because in Fort Wayne, which is close to Indianapolis, civil rights activist Vernon Jordan, he was giving a speech there, and he was kind of well known. I mean, I guess you could call him B-list. To like Martin Luther King's being A-list or whatever, or Jesse Jackson being A-list. Vernon Jordan was like B-list, but he's a rising star. And the civil rights and everything. So, he was giving a speech, and he was talking to a white woman named Martha Coleman after his event, and they were talking for a while, and there's this whole thing in the book about him, about how Vernon Jordan was married. Was he fucking Martha Coleman or whatever?
Right.
It doesn't really make a damn bit of difference for this story. I'm just throwing it out there. This book is really good. But so he shot Vernon Jordan after a while, after they had been talking for a while, he shot him, and then he took off. But Vernon Jordan survived. Fail.
Epic fail once again.
So at this point, he runs back to his hotel room, and then, because this was in the middle of the night, but the next day and everything, he's just like sitting there glued to the TV, like switching through the channels and all that stuff, all three of them that they had back then. And it made it a hell of a lot easier for him to, like, look for everything. But
yeah, exactly.
There, it made the local news, and it might have gotten mentioned on it, but it wasn't being reported on as a hate crime.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no national coverage, so
No race war. Who must I kill in order to get a race war? Perfect Nugan.
Yeah. I mean, again, too, dude, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you're not getting what you want no matter what you do. So, dude, why I guess he's too far into it now to stop, but still, it's like, dude, just stop. It ain't working. Find something else to do.
Yeah. So at this point, he goes to Cincinnati in the Ban Hill subdivision, and he saw two black men at a convenience store. So he shoots both of them, but they weren't men; they were kids. 13-year-old Dante Brown and 14-year-old Daryl Lane, and they were cousins.
Wow.
But he
Fucked up
didn't care about that. He didn't care about the fact that he just gunned down two kids. They're all black people.
Yeah.
But he stuck around in Cincinnati, and he placed a classified ad for a guitar and an amp, and that he had. And apparently he was a guitar player. There's no word on how good he was or wasn't or whatever. I mean, at least David Koresh got press of being a good guitar player.
Right.
This guy just like, okay, he had a guitar and amp for sale.
All right, well, good for you.
A woman shows up there to buy them. She answers the ad and shows up to the motel to buy them and everything. She actually buys them, but JPF's just like, hey, I got some guns here. Man. You want some guns? I got guns. And she's like, no. She leaves. And she just thought there was something off about it because he had guns all over the damn hotel room. So, as she's leaving with her guitar and an amp, and I'm assuming it's like a PV Rage and a fucking Fender Squire Strat.
Yeah.
So as she's leaving, she grabs his license plate number, but she never does anything with it. She never reports it to the police or anything. But she later told people that she had grabbed the license plate number. Well, why didn't you do something with it?
Yeah.
So skip forward a little bit. Johnstown, Pennsylvania, June 15 of 1980. He sees an interracial couple holding hands crossing the bridge, and he shoots and kills both of them. It was 23-year-old Arthur Smothers and 22-year-old Kathleen Nicola. He comes up with a new idea. It's just like, okay, if I want to start because right now he's like on the East Coast and the South and up north and everything.
Yeah.
In the Midwest and whatnot. So it's just like, okay, how am I going to start a race war? Got to go all over the place.
Yeah. Apparently got to move around some more.
Yeah, you got to spread it all over the country. So he goes to Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
So at this point, he starts getting sloppy. He's got the same car and the same license plate that he had been using for like the past couple of months. It's like prior to that, he had been switching up cars, or at least switching up license plates. He had been painting cars and all that stuff. But now he just like, nah, I'm indestructible. I'm good. They ain't caught me yet.
Right.
I'm already a prolific serial killer.
Yeah.
So he finds two white women and he starts talking to them. He's hitting on them and all that stuff and everything. And, you know, it's just like he can't freaking help himself. I mean, it's just like according to the book, these two women were actually kind of into him at first.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like he could have wound up with like a threesome, you know?
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
No. But he couldn't freaking help himself. He always wound up getting, you know, like going back to the racial shit. Yeah, it's just like, oh, I hate black people and all that stuff. And he actually told these girls that he was a hitman for the KKK and he was on a mission, a recruiting mission to build up what he called the white Christian army.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay.
So they told him to fuck off.
Smart thing for them.
So then he picks up a sex worker, and he's like asking her like if she has a black pimp, and she says no. She was kind of like a freelancer. Yeah, he starts asking. It's just like, okay, well, do you know where any black pimps are? Like you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, in 1980.
Yeah.
There aren't any black people there. There's like 6.
Right.
But it's just like I could just picture him just like, yeah, it's like, okay, after they do their deed and all that stuff, they complete their business transaction, and that, you know, it's like she's getting dressed. You got a black pimp? No. Well, where are all the black pimps? Yeah, like in that scene in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Where it's like, where are all the white women
Where are
at?
all white women at? Oh boy.
So he's like, where's all the black pimps at?
Yeah, right. A fucking idiot.
Yeah, I mean, but you're in Salt Lake City. I mean, at the time, that was probably one of the whitest freaking cities in the entire country.
Right.
You know.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So on August 20, Liberty Park neighborhood in Salt Lake City, he sees 4 people jogging together. It was 2 white women and 2 black men. Dun, dun, dun.
There it is.
I found the 2 black men in Salt Lake City.
Yep, found both of them.
So Ted Fields, 20 years old, and David Martin, 18, both black, and they were both shot dead. And you know, he didn't shoot the white women, but he gunned his engine and peeled out and everything, and he was recognized at that point because he made a spectacle out of himself. They saw him.
Yeah.
The 2 girls, they saw him. So the FBI released information about him, and the Cincinnati police compared the Salt Lake City attack to their Bond Hill attack. And he and the car were identified, but they didn't have a name. So they started interviewing hotel managers, like between Cincinnati and Salt Lake City.
Uh-huh.
They start getting, you know, people that recognize the car and everything. They get a picture. You know, they find a composite. They're able to put together a composite picture of the guy.
Right.
They're freaking on to him. They don't have a name yet because he was using aliases.
Yeah.
But they know that it was him because they connected him to the car. You know, and people, you know, in these hotels and everything that they interviewed, they remembered him.
Yeah.
Back in Cincinnati, he leaves Salt Lake City and goes back to Cincinnati. September 25th, 1980. He's in a hotel, and cops arrived there to arrest a robbery suspect. And they blocked him in. I mean, it wasn't. They weren't after him. They just rolled in with a bunch of officers and everything because they were arresting somebody else. You know, and there just happened to be a freaking police car like blocking his car.
Wow.
So this idiot, he's annoyed. So he calls front desk to complain about the cops blocking, blocking him in and the noise and everything. Nothing happened. So he calls Cincinnati Police Department to complain. The cops are like, okay, we've got this Karen.
Before it was even Karen.
We got this Karen, and the cops are like, okay, fuck this guy. We're gonna, he had called dispatch like several times and everything, and then finally the cops are like, all right, this is his car. Run the fucking license plate. So they ran the license plate, and they saw that it was connected to to murders where he was a suspect. So they freaking knocked the door down and they arrest his ass.
Oh.
I mean, idiot.
Wow.
I mean, just that goes up on the like the Mount Rushmore of stupid.
Yeah, dude, that's bad.
They didn't even know he was there. They had no clue that he was there. And if he had kept his mouth shut and just dealt with it, but now he's just like, I'm invincible. I can fuck with the cops and all that stuff and everything. But no, you know what? You're not gonna fuck with the cops,
Right.
especially the Cincinnati cops. I mean, those guys are. I just love it. I love it. It's just like, okay, this guy's being such a fucking tool. Let's run his license plates.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, dude, it's like seriously, like, I mean, I want to go back to the whole, does he just have like extremely bad luck? But he kind of brought that shit on himself.
Yeah, he did.
You know, I mean,
It's kinda like- it's kinda-
if he wasn't being such a friggin' tool, he probably wouldn't have been caught yet.
No, I mean he would have gotten caught eventually, but
Yeah,
because they
but-
were closing in on him. But he probably would have lasted another few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like BTK after like getting away with it for decades and everything. All of a sudden, just like getting a freaking narcissist ego burst or whatever, and
Yeah.
just like throws himself back into the freaking media, and they wind up tracking his ass down. Yeah, because he was so stupid.
Yeah. Dude, that's just
So-
fucking. Yeah. You got
Yeah.
you got yourself caught because you're a fucking idiot.
Because you're a freaking narcissist idiot.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. Whatever. Hey, good.
So he's interrogated and he's cuffed to the chair, and an interrogator left him alone to take a phone call. They actually uncuffed Joseph Paul Franklin.
Say what?
They uncuffed him. They shut the door. They locked the door.
Oh, okay.
But they uncuffed him for his comfort or whatever.
Oh, okay.
This fucker escapes through a window.
Oh boy.
I mean, and this is where just the way that he escaped a couple of times, which we're going to get to, and everything, and it's just like, okay, this stuff, the way he's able to escape and everything, that's Bundy-esque.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Ted Bundy escaped a couple of times too, and the second one is, it's more comical. I mean, Bundy was successful in his escape attempts. He was in this one, but the second one is like the stuff made for comedy movies.
Right.
So at that point, he gets out of there and everything. He escapes through a window. So he cut and he dyed his hair. And the cop, after they realized that they had fucked up, the police, they stalked out his wife's house. But he had abandoned her a long time ago.
Yeah.
At this point, he's on every cop's radar. His picture is up in every post office in the country. He couldn't rob banks anymore, so he started donating blood for money. So the FBI suspected that he would head south. And they guessed that he would be hitting up blood banks, for money, since, just like he wasn't going to be able to get away from robbing a bank again.
Yeah.
So they circulated his photos and descriptions of his tattoos. His tattoos were a Grim Reaper on one arm and an eagle on the other, on his forearms. And John Douglas, the profiler extraordinaire, he predicted Florida. He was going to turn up in Tampa, Florida, because years earlier, Joseph Paul Franklin had sent President Jimmy Carter a threatening letter.
Oh.
So he thought, yeah, and that's a Hail Mary, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably wasn't one of John Douglas's finer moments. But he wasn't all wrong. Yeah. He wasn't going after Jimmy Carter. But he was in Florida.
Yeah.
On October 29th of 1980, he's in Lakeland, Florida, and he goes to a blood bank. An employee recognized him from the pictures, and she called the police, and they said to stall him. So they did. You know, she stalled him, and he was arrested. You know, they showed up like at one point. They're like, okay, well, you have to stay there and kind of chill out for a little bit. You know.
Yeah. Right.
But at some point he's just like, fuck this, I'm out of here. But luckily, the moment that he said, fuck this, I'm out of here, that was when the cops pulled up. So they got him. He's arrested in freaking Lakeland, Florida. Yeah, Lakeland, man.
Yeah.
We got JPF. I think wasn't Christine Falling arrested in Lakeland?
Seems like it. It seems like I remember that.
She was in Lakeland, but she was definitely in Lakeland. But I think she was arrested in Lakeland too.
Yeah, she might have been.
Yeah, while he's in jail in Lakeland, yeah, he makes a phone call to his wife. That's the first time he's talked to her in a long time, and he actually admitted to the Salt Lake City murder and some bank robberies.
Okay.
And this is something that serial killers do a lot, or criminals in general do a lot. They'll talk and they'll admit things over the phone, not realizing that the fucking phone calls are taped.
Yeah.
When you're in prison or when you're in jail. Dumbass.
Yeah, well, it happens.
So at that point, he's extradited to Utah. He started a friendship in jail with a man named Robert Herrera. Robert Herrera had like fought with black inmates, and you know, Joseph Paul Franklin thought that was cool. He started bragging about his whole list of crimes and murders and everything, and Herrera ratted him out to get time off of his sentence.
Oh man. Oh yeah, just goes to show you can't trust nobody.
Yeah. And in this case, snitches don't get stitches.
Right.
But you know, Herrera, that's a Latino name. You know, so I mean,
right.
For whatever reason, I mean, JPF didn't hate Latino people. So in trial in Salt Lake City, he escaped from the holding area, and he snuck into an elevator through, you know, and got into it. And he actually had to hotwire it because it required a security key to open. He actually hotwired that.
Really? What is he, like fucking Houdini all of a sudden? How does this even happen?
Freaking MacGyver, man. He's like freaking, it's like a freaking paperclip and, you know, but he gets into the elevator. He doesn't go anywhere and everything, but he gets into the ventilation system, you know, like through the top hatch on the escape hatch on the elevator. Uh-huh. It's like right out of a bad movie, you know?
Yeah, no shit.
He was found. They locked the building down and everything. They brought his ass back into trial, and the jury, and you know, they never knew the wiser.
I had no idea. They caught him so friggin' quick, nobody even knew he escaped.
Right. I mean, they locked the building down, but still, I mean, yeah, it's just like, okay, that's right out of a bad freaking
dude, that's
crime comedy movie.
Yeah. Tried to pull some James Bond shit without having James Bond swagger is what happened.
March of 1981, he's sentenced to life without parole. And he's at the Marion Federal Penitentiary in Illinois, and this is a maximum security prison, very violent. And there's like a bunch of gangs that are in there. There's the Aryan Brotherhood. There's the DC Blacks. And I'm pretty sure there's like the MS-13 wasn't a thing back then. Or maybe they were. I don't know. But there were multiple gangs there.
Mm-hmm.
But the Aryan Brotherhood actually offered him protection. But he's like, no. Y'all accept Jews. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's
wanna...
fucking brilliant. Piss off one of the biggest fucking prison gangs there is.
Who are offering you protection.
Yes.
Because of what you had done. Not, y'all got Jews. Y'all got Jews.
Yeah.
So, and then you got the DC Black chapter that was in there and everything. And so, but he was alone by his own stupidity and everything. The DC Blacks figured out who he was, and he was jumped and he was stabbed 15 times. And at that point, he was moved to solitary confinement.
How do you not die after you get stabbed 15 times?
So
Did they? Yeah, I stabbed him 15 times and I missed every vital organ.
A dull shank, maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he didn't want to be at Marion because of the fact that there was that attempt on his life and everything. He was scared, and rightfully so. Well,
yeah.
But the thing is he could have joined the Aryan Brotherhood, but he's like, no, y'all got Jews.
Hey, they would not accept the Jews. That you're not true Aryan, you accept Jews.
Yeah, right.
Mein Kampf, Vergnügen.
So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just like, okay, these people came to him. He didn't search them out. They came to him, and they're just like, okay, well, it's like, okay, we'll protect you.
Yeah.
Join us. And it's like, no, you guys have Jews. And it's just like, I find myself saying this on a lot of our episodes. He practiced what he preached.
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, it doesn't make any damn sense, or whatever. I mean, but you know what? I'm glad he didn't. But we could do a whole episode on his court. Like I said, he didn't want to be at Marion, so he begins confessing to other crimes in other states and everything to be taken to these states to stand trial, hoping he'd land a lighter sentence. Like a longer but lighter sentence and everything in like a lower security prison to where he wouldn't have some of the hardest black gang members in the country like gunning for his ass. He was scared shitless about being in that Marion, Illinois penitentiary.
Yeah, well, if you can't walk the walk.
He winds up in Missouri. He didn't want to be in Missouri, but he wound up there. Because people had, because he had confessed to people about the person that he killed in Missouri. Well, Missouri had the death penalty at that point.
Uh-oh.
So he winds up, after going to all these different states and everything where, and like standing trial and everything, but he always wound up like back at Marion.
Uh-huh.
At this point, he stays in Missouri because he's sentenced to death. And on November 20th in 2013, at 63 years old, he got lethal injection. And he was the first person ever to have the single dose injection, because there was like a long lawsuit and everything about the
3-shot one.
Yeah, the 3-shot one and everything, and he was the first person ever executed with the single shot.
Oh.
So there was an interview like a week before the execution, and he's just like talking all nonchalantly and everything. He believed he was going to heaven. He said he was no longer racist. He said he was wrong. He regretted what he had done and everything, and it's just like and of course they all say that.
Yeah.
He did not give any last words. He did not. He didn't even take a last meal.
Wow. Huh.
And so, bye-bye, you Nazi racist piece of shit.
Yeah, right.
And that's it. We're done. We got it. We got through it.
We made it.
All right, so wrapping it up, you know, we want to thank each and every one of you that's listening to our episodes and everything. We appreciate the hell out of it.
Hell yeah, you guys rock.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wrapping it up, I mean, we might actually have to say the stuff that we do because of, you know, the fact that we're changing formats and all that stuff. I got to make sure the links are all right and all that other stuff. So, you can find my original music on all platforms like Spotify and Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, and all that stuff. But Bill Selby, just look for it. It's all there. And Todd,
yeah, I have a band. We're on Facebook. Come out and see me. I'll buy you a beer. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I have a band called Retroactive Days. We are on Facebook. If you look us up and you're ever in Brevard County area in Florida, where, you know, and we're happy to be playing somewhere near to where you are coming out, come up, say hi to me, and I'll buy you a beer. As long as you tell me you listen to the podcast, but you know what I mean.
So, oh, and by the way, I've started a new podcast. It's called Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Survivors. And what it's going to be is people are going to come in. Yeah, if you're just finding this episode for the first time, you know, like finding us for the first time on this episode, I'm a cult survivor. I grew up in a cult. You know, if you go through, I think it's episode 10 and episode 11 is the story of my cult. And the first episode is the timeline of the cult. The second episode is my story. But what I'm thinking about doing, you know, what I am doing, I mean, the podcast is launched. I don't have any episodes yet, but it is launched. So if you go to Spotify and everything, you're going to find it. There's a intro thing that's like a minute and a half long. But I'm going to have people who survived cults, people who like maybe survived an encounter with a serial killer, or just somebody that tried to, you know, that just randomly tried to kill somebody or something like that. Domestic abuse survivors. It's called Crimes, Killers, Cults, and Survivors, and then on the logo underneath that I wrote, "Their silence is broken now," because talking about it, getting it off your chest and everything, that's a very important step in somebody's recovery that had to go through something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I ain't gonna lie, when I did that episode, you know, the 2 episodes that I did about my time and the cult that I was raised in, I felt a hell of a lot better, but I felt empowered. I felt like I was ready to take on everything. And you know what? And I did something with that. I started a podcast. It's going to take a little while to get that going. I mean, we're not going to have content every week, more than likely, because it's going to take a while for me to get these people to come in and lower their guard and talk to me. But the thing is I was, you know, I'm a cult survivor, so I'm not just some like random podcaster that just wants to get listens and everything. So, okay, let's talk to, you know, let's talk to survivors and stuff like that. No, I can empathize with these people's stories because I've been there. So, you know, I'm hoping to have the first episode, the inaugural episode with that up, and, you know, like less than a month from now, but, you know, it's there.
Cool, bro.
So, all right. Well, I'll wrap it up. And until next time, later.
Cheers, everybody.